kind of encouragement can I do to make you feel empowered?
Um, is there audio? Is that echo?
There's a little feedback. I'm not sure which one is coming from.
You
It
might want to take one off. Are you connected to both, Sunny?
Yeah, I see two of them on there. So whichever one doesn't have the visual, you could probably take that one off and see if that, because it's probably playing audio, so it's pulling it in. Yep, yep,
Okay.
that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And they asked the question one more time.
Sure. Encouragement. Like what types of words or what type of words could I use that will empower you?
Encouragement. Uh, things like I I noticed the effort and I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Or I see the sacrifices you're doing, and I just want to acknowledge you for it. Um, or uh, you know, good thing we're going through the rough times now. Later on, we'll go through the we'll go through better times. So we're getting it out the way now. Things like that.
Okay. Is there anything that I can do to improve my encouragement to empower you?
Um, I guess it's case by case, but maybe just to pause, maybe a couple minutes before making any recommendations. Like maybe or just I guess just maybe just have it be thoughtful. Just be thoughtful. It doesn't have to be too articulate, but it just has to be thoughtful.
Okay.
So I guess Sonny, what she might be asking is like, from what she does now, how
Yeah.
could she make it better?
How can she make it better?
Mhm.
Um, how can she make it better? Um, like maybe just a 45 second before I go off to work. Just say, hey, I know it's going to be a long day, but you got this. I'll see you when you get home. Thank you for everything. Just 45 seconds before I go out to work. It doesn't have to be a long speech, or just maybe like days I do get to be home in the evenings. Maybe just we do prayer together, saying, um, you know, hey God, I just want you to have your hand on our family members as they leave in and out the house, type of thing. Just prayer, um, you know, as a family or as a couple, saying that, hey, just have be with us, be with our family members as we leave the house, meet the kids and stuff like that, that they can come back home. Because a lot of times on my way to work, I dread going to work because both jobs I'm thankful for being able to supply, but a lot of times there's a lot of negativity, with other coworkers, or there's always confusion. Maybe it's like high, um, a lot of activity on one day. It might be busy one day, and it just drains you. So just going to work, saying with a prayer, with a 15 second, 35, 45 second motivation, would do a lot, do a lot of effort. It helped me out a lot. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Was that good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions,
Okay.
Keisha, on that?
Mm-hmm. More.
Okay. I think we may have covered this one because I see a few notes, but I'll ask it again anyway. So, I would like more empathy and it would make me feel more understood. What I have here as a few notes is that you want Keisha to understand what you're going through, your perspective and point of view. So, Keisha, is there anything in particular you'd like to ask about that one?
Um, since he's big on words, what are some words that trigger you that I know when I say are you are you all right, that triggers him. He doesn't like that. So it's kind of hard for me to like try to ask him how's it going without saying some words that he doesn't like. So I guess like how would you like me to say those things to try to have empathy so I can understand what you're going through?
Um, I guess the words "How are you?" Um, surprisingly, I haven't heard that phrase until I became an adult. Sadly, I haven't heard that phrase until I became an adult, and well into my late 30s, early 40s, really until before I got into a relationship with you. So I'm not used to, I guess, as a just expressing, how are you, you know. But what I do appreciate for empathy would be like, um, maybe the times where I'm too tired to put up a fight with the kids, making too much noise. Maybe you can be like, "Don't you understand? Um, we have to have it quiet for a certain time period because we just need daddy to sleep a little bit." Or um, or if I come home limping, um, maybe like let's not say let's just go out to go do an activity type of thing. Um, maybe we could plan it or schedule it in advance instead of the day of planning in advance. Um, or I guess last year I was diagnosed with the diabetes, and ever since then, I don't know. It seems like once you get one diagnosis, you just get sick with everything else all of a sudden. So I guess just a lot of times when I don't feel good, I just don't vocalize it because I'm just not used to saying I don't feel good. I just try to I try to I try to I say it with one sentence, but I don't go in deep into detail. I don't say my head hurts, my stomach hurts, my knee hurts, or anything like that. So I guess just take me for my words if I say I'm just not feeling good, stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a question. I
Yep.
guess I'll squeeze in here first, Keisha.
Thank you.
Um, so when you say, okay, well, I don't really go into detail, but I may say I'm not feeling good,
Yeah.
and you're asking her for more empathy. Now, granted, she can have a better understanding of how that you probably feel worse than what you're letting on, but how does she really understand the depth of how you're feeling
Hmm.
if you just say I don't feel good, because that's kind of a neutral bad. It's not like a 10, right? And you may be feeling like a 10. And so she could give more empathy if she knew you were at a 10.
That's a fair statement. I guess I could work on just being more descriptive. Um, I could say A, B, and C are it's making me feel bad. I can work on that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you give her things that she could do to help, or you
Hmm.
could use a rating scale, that even helps. Of like, today's a 7. We're not in the best place, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on it. That could also be an option. So
Yeah.
any of those. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, no. I can work on that. The days usually it's like clockwork for some reason. Like, well, not for some reason. The typically the days where I seem to not feel good is the days where I work the double shift,
Okay.
and and maybe I could just maybe describe it a little bit more, and then I've been using the excuse of, oh, I'm just so exhausted. Sometimes I don't even want to go into detail, but I'm gonna correct that and not even use that as an excuse no more. I just want to I want to put in the effort just to say, hey, here's what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that'll be helpful. I mean, obviously you don't have to go on and on for like 10 minutes talking about it,
Hmm.
but you can just kind of give her an idea of what you're feeling.
Yep.
And that helps her because I know that you say sometimes you can be forgetful. That helps her kind of keep track with patterns
Hmm.
because it makes
Mm-hmm.
it more serious of like, hey baby, you've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm a little concerned, or hey, it's been 2 or 3 weeks with this same issue.
Yeah.
And so that might also be the way she can support you.
Yep. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha, anything you want to add or any questions?
So should I stop asking how are you? Instead of me saying how are you, what else can I say?
Um, I guess um, what was your day like? Maybe. I, I don't know. I guess like I said, I haven't heard that phrase until I became an adult, and I don't think that's a good thing. But maybe just how was your day, and then maybe I can go into details about the. I can go in chronological order how the day was. Um, um, and here's another thing too that I do um, hide away from the household. Sometimes when I have confrontations with some of the coworkers, sometimes we have these negative Nancy's or people that are just frustrated at the job for whatever reason, disgruntled. I try not to bring that home once I come home. And she knows some of the players that have been that cause trouble at the job. One of them is called the evil one. We give them nicknames. One's the evil one. But I try not to like I'll give only like summaries of what these guys do to me but I try not to bring 85-90% of it to the house. 'Cause I just want to make sure I don't bring any of that stuff, negative energy back home. So I guess that's a problem in itself. I don't know. What do you think that'd be a problem if I start bringing in every single detail of the stuff that bothers me at the job? Maybe stressful situations. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think, Ms. Clayton?
Um, well, I guess I'm gonna answer your question, but after I ask another question.
Yep.
So what do you do with it when you don't bring it home? What happens?
When I don't bring it home, my my remedy for the last 20-30 years is to work it off.
Hmm,
Just to work it off.
okay.
Um, and then whenever come through across any confrontation, if I come across any stressful situations or anything that makes me feel bad, I just work it off and keep it to myself. Usually that's what I used to do.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
until I got married that's when I started saying a little bit to when I got home to I'd say tell Keisha, hey, the evil one's giving me problems. And there's another lady we call Wacko Taco. Her last name is Taco, but we call her Wacko Taco. We just we got They're always causing trouble, causing trouble
Yes.
for me. I'll just tell you, Wacko Taco. I had to call the postal inspector to file a complaint on Wacko Taco.
Mhm.
Just because she'll just drive you crazy. She'll drive you crazy.
Mhm. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess last question and then I'll answer. Do you feel better when you share it with Keisha?
Um. To be honest with you. Oh. Hello.
Uh-huh. Yep, I'm
Oh.
here.
Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. To be honest with you, the only thing that makes me feel better is actually just like resting, sleeping
Okay.
enough. Like talking about it really doesn't make me feel good, but like working it off is a way to mask it and hide it. But like just resting, like if I get to rest that makes me feel. That's the only thing that really makes me feel better. Just resting about like going to sleep and resting, and the next day I'm refreshed about it. To be honest with you, talking about it doesn't make me feel good.
Okay.
Talking about it,
Okay.
making like doing something about it, or sleeping it off makes me feel better.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that I mean, although you say that talking about it doesn't really make you feel better, the opposite of what you're doing now is the just work it off, which is kind of like suppressing, right? And
Yep.
that's kind of layering the stress. So
Yep.
so that's not as helpful.
Yep.
Um, you know, and and then it goes back to one of your other requests of like the empathy component. If she doesn't know, she can't support, right? So you may not have to go into great length of, every detail, but
Hmm.
it might be helpful for her to just know, like, hey, Wacko Taco's doing it. She's at it again, and
Yep.
this is the last thing that she has done. Yeah, she doesn't need to provide any, solution, or if you don't need that, that's fine.
Okay.
But if you want to get it off your chest for, a second of like, hey, it was kind of a rocky day today,
Hmm.
with the coworkers. They were stirring up trouble, that at least she's more aware of what you're dealing with, because she doesn't really know as much.
Okay. With I had a question. So, Keisha, how do you feel about me being more open? Do you think would you feel like it'd be positive that I'm sharing this information? Do you think it's negative that I'm bringing in work from home? Uh, or do you think that you would need balance? I would. I need to talk about the good times too. Or how would you feel if I started doing this more, Keisha?
I do think you tell me about your day. But I don't think it's a negative thing, and it would help me not walk on eggshells because it's kind of hard to read you sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say anything that would add on to the stress you're going through. I want to like make sure that I could help you and not make it worse. So I don't think it's a negative thing, and I actually appreciate it when tell me you're going through some things, and yeah, it helps me not to walk on eggshells.
Okay. This just made me think. Whatever what she just said right now makes me think. And sometimes I feel like here's another reason why I used to keep quiet. Sometimes I feel like if I'm not mentally at full capacity to um, to be logical how I speak, sometimes I just hold it in because I don't want to say something to put my foot in my mouth. Like I don't. I'm not. I don't ever curse. I don't ever yell. That's not part of my personality. But I might say something like, you would know you work from home. Just something, something that I shouldn't be saying.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, you ever like when you're tired, you get a little bit more cranky. So I try to know that when I'm tired, I'm not at full capacity to
To
really just
filter.
to filter myself. I just don't want to filter. Yeah, I can't filter myself. Like the other day, I was like, who left this gallon of juice out here? To Kennedy, and it's just a gallon of juice. It's no big deal. You know. So yeah.
Well, I think that just takes, some understanding from
Hmm.
Keisha of like,
Hmm.
if she sees that or hears that kind of response of like, okay, he's stressed,
Hmm.
and not necessarily take it personal. Um, so and of course you monitoring yourself too, of
Yeah.
like, if you notice that you've kind of come off a bit harsh of like, okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of
And like I usually apologize within 30 minutes to 1 hour, and like it usually costs me some money every time I put my foot in my mouth. Like when we went that one day when we when I messed up that meeting, I missed the meeting. Yeah, it costs like $100 to go get some some food. That's it. Every time I mess up, it costs me a lot of money. So
Oh no.
I try. I don't.
you, you gotta learn from those lessons, Sonny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's too
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I mean, I think on and even on both ends of like rather than completely withdrawing what
Yeah.
you want to say because you don't want to say it wrong,
Yeah.
just try your best to like, think about what you're gonna say before you say it,
Yeah.
and if we all have moments where we're not always gonna do it right? And just, if you realize like, okay, that was probably a bit more intense than it needed to be,
Yeah.
then you can go back and make it right,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
Yep.
that's just how it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so the last one, I would like more gratitude and it would make me feel validated.
Yeah.
Like more to make me feel
Mhm.
validated.
So
So
I,
Keisha, any questions? Uh-huh.
yeah, Keisha, you go ahead.
You see when you have something to say, go ahead and say it, brother.
Yeah, I want Keisha to say, look at my big strong man. Ooh, I'm so
Okay.
happy that I got. Look, I'm so happy that look, he got it covered. My man got it. Just like stuff like that.
Okay.
That'll pump me up. Just the gratitude around here.
I do it
Hold.
behind your back though.
Oh, okay.
I don't do it a lot like in front of you. I'll do a better job, but when I kind of make I don't try to make people feel bad that they kind of single, but I be boasting about you. Okay, when people be having problems with their husbands, I be boasting about you.
Yeah, yeah. Or if I go cut the grass and then like the neighbor goes cuts the grass afterwards, and
Yeah.
and just be like, look at my man, he a leader. Look at he just following. Look at he just following up.
They gotta be like you.
Yeah,
Nobody can
they got,
cut that grass like
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Exactly.
King of the cul-de-sac. King of the cul-de-sac.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you want
yeah,
some
Oh, yeah.
cheerleading going on.
yeah. Some gratitude, like just appreciate gratitude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often would you like me to do it?
Um, I guess whenever I do something that nobody wants to do.
Okay.
Whenever I do something that nobody wants to do. Like if I'm chopping down a tree, not to say I'm chopping down a tree, but if I'm chopping down a tree, look at my big strong man. Look at him go. I'm chopping down a tree.
Okay.
You know, or
Okay.
just whenever I do something that nobody wants to do.
Okay.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right. So those are the three. So we
Mm-hmm.
got that. Now, Sonny, do you need us to remind you of the of Keisha's three?
Yes,
Or you
please.
got them? Okay, so let's go back. Let me go back to my last note here. Okay, so Keisha's three. I would like more time, and it
Mm-hmm.
would make me feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like more PDA, and it would make me feel more sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like more me time, and it would make me feel at ease.
More me time
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel at ease.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So, any last thoughts or comments about that? Because we're going to move on to a new activity.
No, I think that was a good exercise. I really appreciate that one. That was a good one.
Good,
Mm-hmm.
good. Awesome. All right. So, we're going to do a new communication activity called the Talking Tips. And what the Talking Tips is, and I think I may have introduced it to you guys already, just to give you a heads up. But if not, we can go over it all in detail today. So it looks very involved, but it's not really that bad. So the Talking Tips is kind of a format of helping you communicate about an issue that you would like to see change in, and it kind of helps structure how you communicate about the activity, because a lot of times we start talking about or we start sharing a complaint of some type, and it typically kind of just goes left, right? We start with the complaint, then the person mentions, well, you might do this too, or I don't like what you're doing about this. And then we go back and we start talking about that. And then we kind of are, gone from A to Z about something completely different and never really resolving the issue. So this kind of helps make sure that we're covering all bases with starting with the specific issue, and only one person speaks throughout this entire circle, and one person listens. That same person listens through the entire circle, and then you have the resolution. So issue and solution are all kind of wrapped into this. So I'll give you guys an example of kind of how you can use this, and then we can probably start with at least one, both, depending on what you guys come up with. So, I noticed that, and it's very specific behavior. So I noticed that when you come home, you throw your clothes in the bathroom and you leave them there for me to come get. I assume this means that you're expecting for me to pick them up. I think that's extra work when I've already been taking care of everything else for the day. I'm frustrated by having to pick up after you and the kids when I'm already tired. I'm hurt by um, the expectation that I will just pick up the clothes when the hamper is very close by. I worry about, and some people may not worry about the issue. This, you may not really worry. Use another word, another emotional word if you need to. But I worry about being taken advantage of and not being appreciated. So this is where the solution comes in. So I want you to pick up after yourself and put them up so that I don't have to. I appreciate you so if nothing else, I appreciate you for listening. If you can't come up with another thing, but typically you try to think of, occasions when they have done it or something related to the issue that has been helpful. So I appreciate, when you do take care of that, and you even ask me if you can help me with other things. I realize, so kind of thinking about their perspective, I realize that you may not even notice, because I just pick it up right after you've left, that it's even an issue. I hope, and another, positive statement at the end, I hope that, we can work together to keep things clean so that I don't feel like it's all on my shoulders. So that's kind of it in a nutshell of how you would discuss an issue, how you feel about the issue, what you think about the issue, and then the solution that you want from it. Any questions about how to use the talking tips?
No, I like it because the I want makes it looks like that makes a recommendation of what you think might help out, like a
Mm-hmm.
specific request. So I like a recommendation. That way, if you come to someone with a concern, yeah, yeah, you're also coming with to help resolve it as well with a suggestion. I like that.
Right, and that's the biggest feature of this, because a lot of times we will have a complaint, but then we kind of just walk away with just that, right, and not really give them guidance on like how do I fix it in a way that makes you happy, right?
Hmm.
And so that's definitely okay.
Hmm.
So how you do this, I'm gonna have you guys practice. So I want you to think of a, pretty mild topic, mild to moderate topic that you could use just to practice with. And then the as we do it, we're gonna one person will be, whoever goes first, they'll be the speaker all the way around, and the other person
Mhm.
will be the listener all the way around, and you'll paraphrase, kind of like what we did with the three wishes activity. So you'll say, I noticed, and then the other person will repeat. So you noticed, and then I assume this means, so you assume this means, we'll do that as we go around. Okay.
Hmm.
So who would like to go first?
Keisha, you want to go first?
Okay.
All right. So then, Sunny, you're trying to make enough room here. Can you guys still see it? Okay.
Yes.
Trying to make it
Hmm.
green. Okay. All right. So Keisha, whenever you're ready, you'll share the I notice and very specific behavior.
Okay. I notice you will have a lot of complaints, but you tend not to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some off the head. Okay. I I notice that you will complain about something not being clean, but you won't clean it when you see it.
Okay, that's a good one. So Sunny, you'll repeat what you hear after she says those sentences.
So you notice that I complain about something not being cleaned, but not cleaning it myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Keisha, next one. I assume this means.
I assume this means that you don't think it's important.
So you assume that this means that I don't think it's important.
Okay. All right. I think so. The I think sometimes people get confused with like the difference between assumption and thought. So the I think is what thought comes to mind when you see that behavior happening. So when you see he didn't clean it up, what do you think?
Um, I think it comes off as naggy or complaining when I clean after you when I see when I see things that you leave behind. I clean after you, so why can't you do the same?
You think that it comes off as complaining that that you do it for me sometimes, so why can't I do it for you?
I'm frustrated by the fact that I do for you, but you don't do for me.
You're frustrated that you do for me, but I don't do for you.
Um, I don't know. I'm hurt by always feeling like I'm the one who has to do all the cleaning around the house.
You're hurt that you're the only one that has to do the cleaning around the house.
I worry that I will become burnt out.
You worry that you will become burnt out.
I want you, if you see a dish in the sink, not to leave it there. Just clean
You
it.
you want me to clean a dish if I see it there, uh, just to clean it.
Yeah, I'll appreciate it if you do that. It'll make my life a lot easier.
You would appreciate if I did that because it would make your life a lot easier.
Mhm. I realize that you work a lot, but it will help.
You realize that I work a lot, but it will help.
I hope you can start helping around the house.
You hope that I could start helping around the house.
Okay. All right. All right. Good. So the next step, Sunny, is for you to give the Cliff Notes version of it. You don't necessarily have to go sentence by sentence on this chart here, but what is the idea or the takeaway from what Keisha has shared with you?
Keisha is basically saying instead of pointing out problems, just be a person that solves the problem by if I see dishes that are out that need to be cleaned, instead of just making it a note, putting a notice out there, just to do it myself and just to resolve it that way, because it would help everybody out. It would help her. It would help her become a lot more stress free.
Okay. All right, Keisha, does he have the right idea?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So then the last stage is we're going to address the request. So you have a couple of options. You get to say straight out, yes, I can do that. I'm going to work on that. Or you can give a yes with modification. So you have a request, but you're willing to do it. So there's a little change to what you're asking them to do. Or you can say that not necessarily no, because I don't think that no is fair. But you would like to provide clarification before you address it. So those are the three options on how you respond to her request.
So it's either yes, no stipulations, no.
Well, yes with modification or
Hmm.
clarification first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes for clarification and modification. The second one is yes with.
Second one, so yes, and then yes with modification. So I'll give you an example. Yes, like for what she's saying, the first option is just yes, I'll do that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yes with modification is like, yes, but if I don't feel good, could you still take care of it for me? That would be yes with modification.
Yep. Okay.
Then clarification required first is that, maybe it's not so much about just the dishes, but maybe more so you're complaining about the kids leaving things and
Hmm.
you want the kids to actually pick up behind themselves and not her. So that's where clarification is necessary first before you address it, because maybe she misunderstood like why you're saying it in the first place. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
That makes sense.
So
Um,
those are the
I will say, let's just say yes.
okay.
Let's just say yes,
All right.
and I'll try it out because I can always come back to it if yes changes, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can always, talk to her like, hey, I'm trying, but I'm struggling with XYZ, yeah. And you
Okay.
guys can kind of negotiate on how to address the issue.
I'll say yes.
Okay. All right. All right, Sonny, your turn for the talking tip. What is your I notice behavior?
Okay. Let me see. All right. I notice that we compare our status with the status of others. I
Be a little
assume
more I'm
be more
sorry.
specific.
Yeah, be more specific and then pause and let her paraphrase after that
Okay.
first sentence.
Okay. I notice that you feel that your I've noticed that you feel your friend has a village to help out with the kids, but you do not.
So you notice that I feel that I don't have a village.
Yes, yes. I assume this means that you feel that it is you're doing this alone.
So you assume that I feel like I'm alone.
Yes. I think that this period will pass.
You think it would pass.
I am frustrated by comparisons because we
Mm,
have different situations.
okay, I see that it's frustrating you.
Okay.
Well, you'll repeat back what he shared.
Oh, okay. I see that it's frustrating you.
Well, no, Keisha, you'll
Hmm?
say like you're frustrated because you feel like I'm comparing different situations.
Oh, okay. You're frustrated because you see that I'm comparing with my friend.
Okay. I am hurt by the fact that you don't see our own progress.
So you're hurt because you don't see our progress that we're making.
Well, he's hurt that he thinks you don't see the progress, not that he doesn't see the progress.
Okay, you're hurt that you feel like I don't see the progress that we're making.
I worry about keeping up with the Jones.
You worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
Hmm. Um, I want for us to work on our own situation.
You want for us to work on our own situation.
I would appreciate if we block out the rest of the world.
You appreciate if we block out the rest of the world.
I realize that life isn't perfect,
You realize life isn't perfect.
um, but I hope that you know that you're perfect for me.
You hope that I know that I'm perfect for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I did that correctly. I struggled a little bit with that one.
For the most part, now that I appreciate you for, you actually said I would appreciate, which I let it slide just
Okay.
because it was interesting
Okay.
what she said.
Okay.
But it's more so of like recognizing what she already does.
Yep.
Yeah, so I appreciate you for, blah blah blah. And so but otherwise, for the most part, I would probably just say like for example, I worry about keeping up with the Joneses. She may understand what you're saying,
Hmm.
but you guys may have different ideas of what that means, right? So you want to, like in any of these, be really clear with like I worry about having to always compare ourselves to what we have and what someone else's has, if that's what you mean, or I worry about always trying to catch up to, someone else who's doing better, or whatever that keeping up with the Joneses means to
Yep.
you. That word. Okay.
Yep. And just to be that was actually a real one, but like I feel progressively like just like our situation compared to others. I don't compare it to others, but I think we're doing pretty doggone good compared to what the rest of the world is going through. I think we're doing pretty doggone good. So I do feel like we've made from 2016 to 2024 leaps and bounds. We're doing real good. I think I would not want to trade places with any of the ones that we compare ourselves to. To be honest with you, I think we're doing pretty. I think we're doing pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So now, Keisha, it's time for your Cliff Notes version of the takeaway of what your husband shared with you.
Um, I'll try my best to not. How do I answer it again?
So it's just not putting your input in at this point. It's just
Okay.
kind of the summary of what he shared. So
Okay.
he's concerned about comparison XYZ.
Okay. So I'm hearing you saying that you don't want me to compare with others and my desire to wanting to have a village to help with the kids.
Is that correct, Sonny?
Um, no, I guess I really want you just to not compare ourselves to others because we're constantly progressing, we're constantly growing, and I don't want to switch places with the anybody else because I always feel like we put in more effort because we're doing it first person. We put in more effort than anybody. I like our situation because it's every year is getting better.
Okay. Okay. So to address the request,
Hmm.
the request is that, I want us to work on our own situation and not compare. Um, you have your three options: yes, yes with modification, or clarification is needed first before you can address it.
Okay. I think clarification is needed because I think you are seeing it totally different from me. I don't feel like I'm comparing. I just feel like when you are a mom, it's nice to have a village around to help.
Yeah, I'll give you a personal example. So I have a sister in Fort Myers that she's younger than me, but my mom really helps her out a lot with her family. She's always there. She's always willing to. My mom's always willing to, help out with a bill or help out with to get the vehicle fixed and help out pick up the kids from school. She does everything for my sister. Like she just gives her so much attention. But the last thing I would want to do would be to switch places with her because she's always going through financial issues, always going through relationship issues, always going. There's just so many other things that they're always going through, having issues with. Just work issues. That I just feel like, yes, she's getting help from her parents, but thank God that that we're self sufficient. Um, it would be nice to get help, but just think what circumstances that we'd have to be in order to get help. It might not be the circumstances that we welcome. We might be in a situation where we're actually really really struggling to get some help. Like not everybody is going to get the same amount of help. Now it would be nice to get somebody just to help out with the kids every now and then. I would appreciate that if like somebody we had family members that were local. But that specific example with my sister, I wouldn't want to say it's a blessing in that situation because financially or work wise, um, relationship wise, I think they look at us and be like, I wish they were doing what we were doing.
Well, I think it's interesting, Sonny, because I think that there's a couple of assumptions, and this is the takeaway from the third party listening to
Yeah.
both of you guys.
Yep.
I think, Sonny, you take her sharing about wanting a village as a comparison to other people's life and situations,
Hmm.
whereas she's just really stating that maybe she just feels a little alone in having to do it. It's not
Yeah.
so much about like I want to be like, Sarah, but more so of like, I appreciate the fact that Sarah has other people to help because I need some help. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't look at it that
So
way.
yeah, so and that that's why that's why we're doing this. So you've gone a little bit past where she maybe her intent of the statement is. Not so much of like they want that she wants to trade lives with them.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's like I understand that, but like it's saying um well say that theme comes home and then there's like an expectation there now like so like like for example like so we had our mother-in-law my Keisha's mom my mother-in-law with us and we had her try to watch our daughter
Mhm.
and it didn't turn out perfect like we wanted to and then it felt like it felt like that comparison or that expectation was that she should have been able to do it. She should have been able to do it, and we couldn't depend on her. And I don't, and my personal opinion, I just didn't have I don't have expectations for everybody that because one person did it, that this person should do it. So like just because our mother-in-law wasn't able to do the same thing, it's not gonna let me down. It's not gonna make me feel. She's not gonna like. I didn't have expectation that they'd be able to do this. She'd be able to do the exact same thing. Sometimes I feel like if the expectation, if somebody's being let down, then it causes a little bit more conflict in the house with everything else. Like I feel like the mood has changed, a little bit more frustration. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Am I too off track, Keisha?
No, I hear what you're saying, but my mom has never been in my village. So that's why when you use my mom as an example, I want you like my mom has never been the person that was in my village. The people in my village would be my aunts.
Gotcha.
Um, Laura, Shanagia, Diane. Those that's my village. It's never been my mom. My mom was never somebody who I had the expectation of watching my child ever. And I also will say, like you brought up Tasha as your
Yep.
example, and I think it's because Tasha and the news, your two sisters butt head with that issue of your mom being there for one of them more than the other. You're putting me in between that, and that's not how I view it. It's not that I'm bumping my head or I'm jealous um of my village, like my aunties helping my other cousins out. I'm not jealous. That's not how I'm saying it. I'm saying it's like it'll be nice just to go on a date with my husband. It'll be nice just to like be able to hang out with the girls, and then I know I have somebody who I can trust to watch my kids. That's what it is. It's not the fact that I'm bumping heads with another person with wanting or needing to have the love from my mom or the care from my mom. That's not how I see it.
Okay. See, this is my first time hearing it this way, so I do appreciate you for saying that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep. So it's all about just having more support. That's what I'm hearing.
Gotcha.
That's it. Hmm.
Okay. But you brought up some great points, which Keisha can kind of keep in mind that
Yep.
you don't like, that you would prefer for you guys not to compare situations
Yep.
because
Yep.
you're in a different situation than
And,
other.
just to be fair, I'm gonna translate it as it's not a comparison. It's more of her saying that she just wants a little bit more support so she can be free to do things like go on date nights and stuff. But it's not a comparison. I'm gonna translate it like that if I ever hear it.
Okay. I think
Hmm.
that's fair.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, you successfully completed the task here.
No internet issues, no phone issues, no battery issues. I mean, we could do an
Right,
AT&T
right. It's not
commercial
gonna cost
next.
you any money, Sonny.
Yeah,
No.
we could do a T-Mobile commercial next. And
Oh
it's not gonna cost me no money. I like that part.
no. That's too funny. But
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm going to, or in fact, if you guys want, I'll make this as large as you can. If you want to screenshot this,
I
um,
already got it.
okay, good.
Mhm.
So you can always, when there's a topic, and just, the clarification part requires a little bit more finessing. So that's when, ears need to be open and understanding and not like get defensive, because they're maybe trying to explain like we did today of like your understanding about the issue is not exactly what the issue is, and so that, does require a little bit more empathy. But
Yeah.
definitely, it's a good strategy for kind of just talking about an issue that really you feel like you're kind of just going around in circles. It's not really getting resolved.
I felt empathy when I repeated everything she said, and
Okay.
or if I said something and she repeated it, I felt like the way just like it felt like I was being heard, and that was like a way of empathy for me. So when I said I noticed A, B, and C, and she says you noticed A, B, and C, I felt good about that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely helpful because what do we usually do? I mean, this is obviously a lot more drawn out and very structured. But sometimes we'll kind of like just talk like one person, maybe Keisha's doing the dishes or dealing with the kids, and you're talking about something and you're not really hearing all the issue. Then you may respond back, and then the situation changes, right? So it kind of tries to keep you on track, and then that person, their only job is to listen,
Yep.
and so and so it helps you feel a bit more heard. And then of course don't be afraid of like if they don't paraphrase it right, like I did a few times, like repeat it of like, no, that's not exactly what I'm trying to say, this is what I mean, so that you don't move on and then it's a misunderstanding in the discussion.
Hmm.
um but otherwise you guys did really
Thank you.
well, so you're welcome. All right. Well, let's get you scheduled for next session. Let's see here. Okay. So, would you all like to do next week or week after? I don't know if you want to continue with every week or if you want to do every other week.
Every other week.
Okay. So then we can do the 19th if you need it to be on a Friday still.
Okay.
Um, let's see. We have two. or 3?
3.
3. All right. Okay, we got you down. 3
Thank
o'clock
you.
on the 19th.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye bye.